Welcome, man. Welcome to another week of the show, y'all. I hope y'all listening to our picks. I hope y'all listening, man. What a week of playoff football. What a week. I think this is probably the best playoff weekend in NFL history, man. All the games were phenomenal. No game was a blowout. Every game had you on your heels, man. What a weekend it was. What a weekend, guys. But before I start the show, I'd like to hold a moment of silence for the two fallen officers in the NYPD. First, we got Jason Rivera, 22-year-old. Man, it's very sad to hear. Then we also have Wilbur Moore. So condolences to the family. I don't know what to say, man. It's very sad. And I'd like to hold a moment of silence. All right, guys. Hope your family gets some healing. And sucks to see this happen, man. Sucks to see this happening. All right, guys, we got my analysts again this week, my good friends over there. First up, we got John Paul Monica. How you doing over there, buddy?
Good. I'm good. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Let's go. Then we got my good friend over there, David, another New Jersey brother. How you doing over there, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. Then we got my good friend over there, Tony Monica, who still believes the Giants is really good, and I got a bright future with Daniel Jones. How you doing over there, buddy?
Beautiful.
That sounds lovely. Then we got my good friend over there, James Wighouse, who's been rubbing in my face ever since Seattle traded those 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams, and he's going to be happy this year, this draft. How you doing over there, buddy?
Hey, guys. How's everyone doing?
Doing lovely. Man, oh, man, I don't know where to start, but I'm going to start over here first, man. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterbacker of all time, is throwing shade over there that he might retire. Do you guys think his time is done? He's going to retire? He's done?
No. If he hasn't come out and said it yet, he's not ready to retire. This guy's going to play till he's like 65 years old when the retirement age hits. He talks about, having to be home with his family. But, 5 minutes of hearing Giselle's voice, he's ready to get back on the field and play. I mean, her body says a whole lot, but her voice doesn't.
Okay. Then we got John Paul. What do you think over there, buddy?
I think it'd be a good idea to hang him up. Granted, he didn't win the Super Bowl or didn't go to the Super Bowl this year, but you know what? My man ranked in just over $40 million just in advertising. You know what I mean? Between his show that he had that's still going on, I believe, and a couple other things. 40 mil. I mean, it's nothing. That's not chump change. I mean, maybe to him it is, but if it were me at his age, I mean, granted, he's been lucky enough not really to have many injuries, just that one knee problem. I would hang him up and call it a career.
Okay. David, what do you think over the buddy? You think Tom Brady should just hang him up now?
He already did everything he wanted to do. He's the most winningest quarterback. Like, what else is there to do? Go spend time with your family. There's nothing else to do.
Okay. James, I know this guy gave you a lot of nightmares, misery over the last decade. You think it's time for him to hang him up?
Hey, John Paul knows. I mean, we beat him in the playoffs too. So, but the 19 other years, yeah, he gave us a lot of problems. I mean, he's not going to hang it up. Do I think he should? I think he should. Not because he can't play, but you're going to wind up looking back and, you're going to realize you missed some of the things your kids were doing while they were growing up. He's done everything he needs to do, but I think he's one of those hyper competitive, super rare guys who is just going to have a really, really hard time hanging up the cleats. So I think he will play at least one more year, but I ultimately think he should just call it a career. He's done everything he needs to do and more. So
100%. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, man. Hopefully, yeah. I don't want to see Brady gone, man. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad to see one of the greatest quarterbacks to walk off the field like that. He definitely should not walk off like that. If you're gonna retire, at least win a Super Bowl like Manning did it. Manning won a Super Bowl. He came in during the offseason and said, "I'm done." You can't retire like that. Come on, Brady. Hope to see you next season, man. Hope to see you next season. All right, let's go over to another 12.
Am I the only one who doesn't care if Brady ever wins ever again?
Yeah, I can care less if he wins another Super Bowl. I think he's amounted to more. If it were up to me and I were him, I would have retired last year when I won it. That's on him though. Now you never know. He might never win another Super Bowl again. He's up there in age, man. You're not talking about a guy that's in his 30s. You know what I mean? This guy's 40 years old. He's not a spring chicken, man. He might not win another one ever again.
Okay. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go to another 12. Another 12 quarterback that everyone says he's a bad man. But he definitely didn't look like a bad man this weekend in playoffs. What happened to Aaron Rodgers? Every year he's a bad man. He had a bye week, ready to recover. He had a good week to recover his body. Everyone had a time on our team. And they lose to the 49ers at home. What happened here, John Paul? What happened?
The 49ers happened. And Aaron Rodgers happened. It just, honestly, the weather was crappy. But, I mean, Green Bay should be used to that. It's Green Bay. Honestly, it just looked like the better team won. The 49ers played their asses off. You got to give them hands down, man. They came in there, and, yeah, granted, it came down to a field goal. But what game this weekend didn't come down to a field goal? So I think you got to give the 49ers their props, man. But then again, if you look at the track record for the Green Bay Packers, they don't really do that well after having a bye in the playoffs. So technically, that's kind of on them. But, yeah, I mean, you got to give the 49ers their props. I think they played an amazing game, and they came out and beat one of the teams that was destined to go to that Super Bowl. I thought it was.
Okay. What do you think over there, David, man? What do you think happened over there, buddy?
Honestly, the 49ers remind me of that Giants year that the Giants got in the playoffs and they created some noise. The weather wasn't great, but also if you look, I forgot how many targets the other receivers besides Devontae Adams and Jones got. None of the other receivers barely got any targets. So I just think he was just trying to look for those two instead of looking at the other wide receivers. Not having Tunyon definitely hurt too. But like I said, the weather didn't play a factor either. And let's be honest here. Who even believed that they would block that punt? I mean, come on. Rodgers can't do anything about that. But everything falls on his shoulders. I mean, look what he did in the offseason. He caused the huge commotion. He should get heat for it. I mean, listen, he won one Super Bowl, and he went to one Super Bowl with him in Green Bay. You can't compare that to the other greats, So that's just my opinion.
Okay. The last statement you made was a pretty small one. It's very rare to hear someone say it. I gotta say that much. John Paul, what do you think over there, man? What do you think? Not sorry, Tony. My fault, Tony.
I gotta be honest. I don't believe Rodgers had a good game at all. To be honest with you, he didn't throw for a touchdown pass. His stats in that game weren't very well, and I don't know. I'd love to be able to get the stat on how Green Bay does at home in negative temperatures, because the Giants went in there and did it with negative temperatures. San Fran went in there and did it in negative temperatures. I mean, Green Bay, you guys are supposed to be used to it. That's your home field. And anytime that, that frozen tundra, as they call it, comes around, you guys cannot play, and a kicker has to be the one to send your asses home. So, I mean, hey, props to 49ers. Way to go. Jimmy G.
Okay. James, what do you think over there, buddy?
And this sucked. I really thought this was the year for the Packers, man. I really did, but it's inexcusable. You can't score 10 points. I don't care how the other team finds a way to win, but you can't score 10 points in a home playoff game and expect to make it out, alive. Maybe, there's a slim chance you can, but 10 points in a home playoff game in that situation, in that weather, being from, the team from Green Bay, you have to win that game. You have to put up more points. They basically double bracketed Devontae Adams. They dared someone else to beat them. And Rodgers didn't really have a chance to look at his second or third option, because that 49ers pass rush, it comes in pretty hot, pretty quick. And so they just could not click on offense. Rodgers looked off. No one else stepped up on offense. Obviously it falls on his shoulders, but no one else stepped up. Obviously the defense played great. They didn't let up a touchdown. The 49ers did not score a touchdown on offense, and they found a way to get out. But like they say, playoffs, sometimes you win ugly, but it really doesn't matter how you move on, as long as you move on. And for this one probably for the Packers organization has to hurt more than any of the other past years that they thought they had a chance with Rodgers. This one probably stings the most because it might have been the last chance. We don't know what's going to happen with Rodgers now. So all those years, and it's just potentially one Super Bowl. And really, if you stretch it out even longer, him and Favre were playing for the Packers for how many years?
30 years.
And they totaled, 2 Super Bowls. So it's kind of a crazy total there for 2 really all-time great quarterbacks.
It's fun that you mentioned that statement, James, about Rodgers. You don't know if we're going to see him next year. Rodgers, the Packers have right now over $40 million in cap space. And they also have to pay Davante Adams. James, you think Rodgers is going to be there next year or what?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure he's under contract, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's under contract. They just have an out if they want to move on. They have an out, where there wouldn't be a huge dead cap hit if they were to move on from him. But listen, if Rodgers goes, I don't really think Davante Adams is going to stay. So that kind of takes 2 birds with 1 stone there. But I don't know what he's going to do. He's kind of a wild card personality. He may hang it up, or he may say, I'm going to, try to go elsewhere. So I think, but he did say today, I think that he's not going to drag this along through free agency. He's going to let them know well before free agency so that they can figure out what they need to do to get underneath the cap and sign guys in free agency. So, but honestly, I think he's such a wild card. I have no idea what he's going to do.
Okay. Joppo, what do you think is going to happen in this situation, man?
I actually see them both going bye-bye. I see them both playing for a different team next year. Simply because, as James said, he is under contract, but he does have that clause where if he does want to move, he can move. And if the Packers want to move him, they can move him. Either way it looks at it. But I think they're both gone out of there next year. Simply because the Packers really don't have the money. Unless they franchise tag Davante Adams, which he's not going to like. If they franchise tag him and he's got no quarterback to play with, I mean, that kid Love he what did he come in twice this season? He looked like complete garbage. I mean, granted, he didn't really take many first team reps, but I honestly think neither one of them will be there. I think the Packers will be going into a full rebuild, and if they are going into a full rebuild, there's no sense in keeping Davante Adams.
Okay, Tony, what do you think is gonna happen over there, buddy?
I don't know. Rodgers has pulled this crap twice, and every time he's pulled it twice, he's gotten more money. And I think that's what he's all about. I think there's a real good chance he stays in Green Bay and they end up giving him more cash.
Okay. David, what do you think is going to happen in this situation, buddy?
Honestly, one team that nobody's talking about, Colts. I can see the Colts trading for Rodgers, and I can see Davante Adams going to the Colts because I think T.Y. Hilton's a free agent after this year too. They have cap space. They have a really good defense. They have the best offensive line in the NFL. You're telling me you couldn't see Aaron Rodgers on the Colts with that running game with Jonathan Taylor? Imagine Jonathan Taylor, Davante Adams, Michael Pittman, and Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. Like, that doesn't scare teams with that defense. The defense was hurt all this year too, so they didn't really have their full defense. So imagine Aaron Rodgers on the Colts. If I was the Colts, I'd make that phone call, give the Packers those 2 first-round picks they want, whatever they want, get Rodgers, get Davante Adams in there, and make a Super Bowl run for next year.
How much money do they owe Wentz?
That I am not sure about. But
I mean, because I believe he's still under contract. I'm not sure if they're willing to take that hit.
I'm just saying, look, if you're the Colts and you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, and T.Y. Hilton probably won't be back next year, you wouldn't try making a plea to be like, hey, Rodgers, why would you come here? You have the best offensive line in the NFL. You won't even get touched. You won't even get touched.
That's true.
I agree. It looks good. But, I mean, when it comes down to the money aspect of it, Wentz hasn't been there very long.
Denver's everybody keeps saying Rodgers could go to because Denver is a quarterback away from being a playoff team. But the thing is, if I was Aaron Rodgers, like, does Denver really entice me to go there, versus the Colts where it's not far from Green Bay. Or I can see him going to 40. I can still see him going to 49ers next year.
Oh, hell no. I pray to God that don't happen. I pray to God that don't happen. I pray to every God in the planet that don't happen.
That's very possible. I mean, for some reason, San Fran ownership still does not believe in Jimmy G, which I don't know what else this guy has to do.
If you remember, Shanahan called LaFleur day of the draft, said, hey, we'll give you 3 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers, but they said no. At this point, you're Green Bay. You got to get what you can get from him at this point.
Okay. Let's see what happens. I pray to God that don't happen. I pray to God Rodgers don't come that way. I pray to God Rodgers don't happen. I pray. Only one man can pray, man. But it sucks at the end of the day, like James said, the Packers organization, they had Favre and Rodgers the past 30 years. How you only come out with 2 Super Bowls? That's insane. That's 30 years right there. And I don't know what happened over there, how they did this. I don't know anymore. I'm confused at this point.
Any given Sunday, man.
Any given Sunday, and the quarterback is not the entire team.
It's not, man.
It's not, but you see how Brady carries his team to Super Bowls. You see how he carries them to Super Bowls.
Once again, and maybe I have to keep schooling you, and I got to keep schooling you.
Yeah.
2 of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game have never won Super Bowls, and that is Jim Kelly and Dan Marino. Okay? Quarterbacks do not do it by themselves. Let's stop putting them up on this pedestal.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm going to agree with you because Tom Brady for James, how many? At least 7 out of the 20 years that he played with the Patriots, or shit, even more than that, maybe 10 out of the 20 years that he played with the Patriots. He had a phenomenal defense. I mean, you're talking about guys that played there that were unbelievable. I mean, so you can't really guess. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady. He's an absolute great quarterback. But at the end of the day, he did have help. It wasn't him by himself. As much as he might want to, it was me. It wasn't you. You had help. The same way he had help last year in Tampa Bay with all that defense, and he had wide receivers out the butt. I don't want to hear it. So he definitely had help. It wasn't him by himself.
Okay. All right, let's see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting offseason. You got Rodgers that might be moving. You got Wilson that might be moving. Brady might be retiring. This is interesting. It gets better and better every day. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, talking about the Niners, man. The Rams are doing something funny. I never heard this before in my life. The Rams ownership, they're managing the tickets where only people in that area can buy tickets. In my 22 years of living, I never, ever heard of this.
That's happened before.
Yeah, I think it happened. I can't remember how many years ago it happened. They did something like that.
I was not born then, okay, guys? I'm 22 years old, okay? I'm not Father Time.
I'm talking about this past couple of years.
But it wasn't long ago.
It was recent.
It even happened in New York when the sport, obviously, when baseball hit.
Yeah.
And the Yankees played the Houston Astros. There weren't very many Houston Astro fans at that game. And if they were there, they were paying a hefty price because of the ticket inflation if you were an Astro fan. Yeah. So, yeah, it's happened.
My point is, jump off before y'all really interrupt me Father Time. Do you guys think it's right? Do you think the Rams are scared of the 49er fans taking over again like they did in the last week of the season?
Well, they're from the same state. Absolutely, I'd be scared. You're talking about a team that has a following like that they would – I mean, they're just kind of – the San Francisco 49ers are just like the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have fans just in one area. They have fans everywhere. All right? Everywhere. Everybody that I've spoken to, even around here, I've spoken to Dallas fans. As you know, my wife is a huge Dallas fan. All her family are huge Dallas fans. I have a bunch of friends that are 49er fans. You know, that might chap you in the ass because they kick your ass all the time. But besides,
they haven't kicked their ass in years. What the hell are you talking about, Bo?
Umir, please, take it down.
You were saying, no. Look up the stat book. When was the last time you smacked us around? Get the hell out of here with that bullshit statement. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit. They have never clapped us around. Get out with that statement.
Take it back down to 3 feet 11 inches. All right.
You take it down with your hair.
All right. So let's talk about this. They have fans everywhere. Is what I'm trying to get at. So no matter where you go, they have such a strong following. All right. You could ask my brother who's a Giants fan. Tony, how many Giants games that you've seen, how many Dallas fans are there rooting just as much as Giant fans?
It's almost half the stadium.
You see what I'm saying? So, yes, they're absolutely 110% scared that they're going to take over. You have to be. But at the end of the day, I mean, well, we're going to get to the pick, so I'm not even going to give you that one yet.
Okay. David, what do you think over there? But you think it's right for what the Rams are doing? You think they're scared? The Niners taking over like they did last week of the season?
I mean, there's Super Bowls in their backyard. I mean, they're trying to do everything they can to obviously sabotage whatever they can. Because if you remember, I think it was the last week they played the 49ers.
Yeah.
There was 3 times as many 49ers fans as there were Ram fans. So, I mean, listen, you got to do what you got to do to get in the Super Bowl. Do I like it? No, because I feel like it's kind of like a cop-out a little bit. But I get it. You know, I wouldn't be mad if the Giants did that either, if Giants were in a Super Bowl. But like I said, it's not a topic where like I would really care, but it's just a matter of like I get it. There are Super Bowls in their backyard, so they're trying to do everything they can to sabotage that.
Okay. What do you think over there, Tony? I keep on messing out today.
I don't care. The fans are paying for their tickets. Who cares? Let them do what they want.
Okay.
Play the game.
Okay. Well, you think the Rams are scared of the 49er fans taking over?
No, because the fans aren't the ones playing the game.
But why do you think but they're doing this on purpose, though? They know the 49 fans are going to take over.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. What about you, James, over there? What do you think on this whole thing, whole controversy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think it's maybe just a whole lot of nothing. I don't think there's any like scared factor in there. I just don't think that, they're scared of the 49er fans. I mean, I know they have a big following, but I don't think there's any any fear there. I think, it could be just a couple of things, right? They know how big the 49ers following is. They don't want their own fans to wind up kind of flushed out of a huge game either. I mean, logistically, I don't know how that works. If you're in an area and you buy a ticket, you may just be a fan. I don't know how they monitor who you're going to root for once you come into the stadium. But yeah, I think it's more so maybe just, making sure their own fans don't get flushed out. But, their stadium, the money's going to come in. It is what it is. I don't think it's a huge deal. It'll be, kind of cool. You get the home field, you get a home field advantage and then hopefully maybe you're playing in the Super Bowl in your own stadium.
Okay. Let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting. All right, guys, this is another big upset we saw. This guy got sacked 8 times. 8 times. I don't know how this guy still won the game. Joe Burrow, man, what the hell? That coach, Zach Taylor, is definitely coach of the year, in my opinion. Joe Burrow comes in Tennessee. Tennessee Titans are the number 1 seed. They got back there running back Derrick Henry, and they still lost. John Paul, what the hell you think went wrong in this game for the Tennessee Titans? They had everything going.
Well, no offense. I think me and James said it perfectly last week that as the number 1 seed, yeah, it's great. It's good to have that bye. That bye also makes you kind of weak, though, in one way. Because you get that extra week off. Those guys aren't practicing for that whole week. You know that just as well as I do. And the Bengals defense, as much as, you opened your eyes like this when I said that they were going to beat them, the Bengals defense is nothing to be, they're not pushovers. They're not by any means. Granted, their offensive line is horrific. And he just finds ways of winning games. And it's exciting to watch him. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very excited for this weekend with them and the KC Chiefs. I think it's going to be a great game.
Okay. David, what do you think over there, buddy? What do you think the Tennessee Titans did wrong?
I couldn't remember last time somebody got sacked 9 times and they won. That just shows the toughness of Joe Burrow, and it just shows how much Tannehill stinks. Every year, I feel like the Titans always can make noise. They traded for Julio Jones. They did all this stuff for what? It was the first, technically their first round, second round. I just feel like the Titans were just an overrated number 1 seed. I'm sure everybody on here would probably agree that they were just overrated, and the Chiefs should have been indefinitely number 1 seed. And I would have loved to see the Bills versus the Chiefs, and obviously the AFC Championship game instead of last week. So that was one of the best games I've ever seen. But just shows how tough Burrow is. It shows their targets. Tyler Boyd's one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. Jamar Chase, top 5 wide receiver in the league. It just shows how tough he is. And Mixon is always one of those running backs who's just like so under the radar. But he does so much for that team. He can catch. He could run. He runs tough, too, between tackles. It just shows also Bengals are definitely going to draft offensive linemen in the draft next year. And that's all they need. They don't need but offensive line help. But I think the Bengals give the Chiefs a run for their money. They beat them once. It was at home. Why can't they do it again?
Okay. Tony, what do you think over there, man? What went wrong for the Titans over there, man? They had everything going. They had Derrick Henry back, everything.
This is such an unpopular phrase, but I'm going to say it. Since he didn't win the game, Tennessee lost it. I mean, the first effing play of the game, you're throwing an interception. Are you kidding me? Why are you not handing off to Derrick Henry on the first play of the game? I don't care if Cincy would be expecting it.
He had 36 yards in 3 quarters. That's why you don't hand him the ball off.
You hand him the ball on the first play of the game, interception. This is so ridiculous.
They never brought him back in the first place.
He's so terrible. Tennessee ended up losing that game. I mean, their defense did what they could to put Burrow down. And I'll be honest, man, how that kid is still even walking. I don't follow Cincinnati very closely, but I had no idea this kid was sacked 51 times in the regular season. That is absolutely disgusting. And the fact that he can walk right now, I mean, holy cow, how is he going to survive? I mean, that's very much like Andrew Luck. I mean, would it surprise me if this kid walks in next year on the first day and says, hey, I quit? Pull the Andrew Luck? I wouldn't be surprised, man. I mean, that's a lot of times to get sacked and be on the floor. So, but like I said, I believe Tennessee lost the game. I don't think Cincy won it.
Okay. Jake, what do you think happened over there, man? What do you think happened?
Ryan Tannehill happened. That's what happened. Listen, he's one of those guys where he's talented. He's going to put up the numbers in the regular season, right? He's kind of in that tier for me with Kirk Cousins, to where if you were to just look up the stats, you'd be like, wow, that guy's definitely really good, right? But there's a level that they're going to take you to, and it's never going to go beyond that level. That's where they're going to be most likely for their career. You're going to have to get or find that guy that can take that leap. I don't think Tannehill is that guy. Listen, the frustrating part about the game was they had the ball, right? And I think it was tied when they had the ball in the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 5, and there was only a few seconds left, and the clock was running. They were letting the clock run down this way. If they didn't convert on 3rd down, they were going to punt to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati was going to have basically no time on the clock to go down the field, right? They had no timeouts either. So they were either playing it safe. Either we get this 3rd and 5 or we're going to overtime. And 3rd and 5, Ryan Tannehill drops back and he throws it in traffic. So now you're trying to play it safe, yet you're going to take an unnecessary risk. That ball in that situation, if you see that, roll out, throw it out of bounds, punt the ball, and we go to overtime. Whatever happens, happens. Like, it felt very, very weird for him to take that risk in that situation, because then Joe Burrow is going to get 15 yards to get you into field goal range. That's it. That's just going to, kind of how the cookie crumbled. So, Tannehill for me, I mean, it is really impressive for Burrow. He either gets sacked or he's throwing the ball for a gigantic gain. It's nothing like in between. It's very awkward. Usually in the playoffs, if you don't have an offensive line, you ain't going anywhere. And for the Bengals, they figured it out, but their defense played better and forced Ryan Tannehill into mistakes. And listen, it can't happen. Another 1 seed that you got to put up more points than you put up if you're at home in these playoff games.
Okay. I'm 100% going to agree with James on that statement, what he said, man. You're Tannehill, you lost all that. Why would he throw that game in traffic? It's literally in the middle of the field where you guys most likely time's out. You try to go deep or something. If they deep intercept, you can stop them. That dude did dead ass threw the ball in middle of traffic. And I don't know what's happening with Tennessee. You had the first seed and y'all choked just like the Packers. I don't get it. How you have the first seed a week off and still choking now when to get the job done.
I mean, listen, there's times I want to pick you up and throw you in the middle of traffic. But, I mean,
yeah. Okay, Baldy. All right, another game, man. This was a game. I think this game was a game of the year, man. This game, I don't know where the defenses were. This team were going back to back to back to back. This team did something that Dallas should have done in 13 seconds, but they failed to do. Man, KC versus the Bills. What a game. What a game. KC won the game in overtime. Do you guys believe that the overtime rules should change? They should change the rules around? James, I see you now. Your finger down. I'm going to go with you first. Why?
No, because, listen, football, there's 3 phases of football. There's an offense, there's a defense, and there's a special teams. When you play football, right, it's a team game. I get it. Listen, everyone wants to see the offense happen, but if you hold the team to a field goal, you get a chance. That's the part of it. It's very hard to score a touchdown, and I get it's Patrick Mahomes, and like that game felt like whoever was going to win the coin toss was probably going to score a touchdown the way things were going. But listen, your defense has to make a stop, right? We saw it a couple years ago when Mahomes and Brady faced off and they went to overtime. They almost had a pick in overtime. Mahomes would have got the ball. Like it is a full team game, and offense brings excitement. It brings ratings. People want to see Josh Allen back on the field. But if you're the Bills, it's tasked on your defense to try to make a stop or hold them to a field goal. You cannot. That's a part of your football team. I would be okay if they went the college route, wherever you start on the 25, you go back and forth. But I mean, to change the entire format just because we wanted to see Josh Allen on the field, it's a team game. The defense has to try to make a stop. Just don't let him score a touchdown. And I know it sounds I'm making it sound a lot easier said than done, but that's a part of your team. Your defense needs to show up. And if they don't, you risk losing the game. That's how it works for the first 4 quarters, and that's how it's going to work in overtime.
Okay. Tony, I see you nodding over there too, man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think we mentioned something about the rules 2 weeks ago, and that's it. I don't want to see any more rule changes. Leave our game alone. And, football is beautiful. Leave it alone. I don't want any more rule changes at all. I don't care anymore. No more rule changes. It confuses the fans. It confuses the players. I think it even confuses the coaches who read those rule books back and forth. No more rule changes. Once again, I'm going to be the guy to say the stuff that no one's going to like this week. Who chooses tails?
Tails never fails.
Who chooses tails? Josh Allen. Such a great game. Terrible call.
Half of the country chooses tails.
Nobody chooses tails.
What happens if tails would have hit?
That's all right. You always choose heads. Don't worry about it.
Now, Paul, what do you think of that, man? You think they should change the rule book up overtime?
I'm on the fence with this one. Simply because I agree with if you score a touchdown, game's over, plain and simple. But I also agree with the fact that I think it should go another quarter. These guys want to fight it out, let them fight it out a whole nother quarter. Drop the quarter maybe. I wouldn't play 15 minutes, maybe 12. I'd play the entire quarter.
At that point.
At the end of it, whoever fights it out at the end of that, it's over.
Yeah, and you're going to be like Pittsburgh once a season, tying a game. It's like Pittsburgh's the only team that ever does it.
Listen, man, I'm also a hockey fan, and I've been there. I've gone to games where I was there for 3 overtimes. I've been there, done that. All right? Don't be – I'm not even going to say the word because I was told I couldn't. So don't be that word, okay? Play the game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you can get – listen, don't be a cat, all right? So, yeah.
Okay.
All right?
Don't be a what's it called, Willow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, I gotta agree with John Paul. Yeah, they should fight it up. They should 100% fight it up. It should be like NBA style, like NBA games. They only for playoffs though. Nobody cares about regular season overtime. Playoff time, they should definitely fight it out, back and forth, like another quarter.
No, you can't do that. You can't have different rules for different times.
It would have been a whole different story.
No.
It would have been a whole different story.
Listen, I would have loved to have seen Josh Allen come back.
You cannot count on this quarter to determine the end of the game. A quarter should not be the thing determining the end of the game. You're putting a whole game of the fate of a game on a stupid quarter.
It's actually not a quarter.
Friend, those are the rules.
I don't believe those rules. The rules got to change. They got to change them.
No.
Hold on, though. Even though I'm on the fence, I wouldn't change the rule. I mean, it seems like that's what it should be. But honestly, as James said, I mean, your team's got to make that stop. Plain and simple. Listen, I was happy because, one, I chose the Chiefs here, and they won me a good little bit amount of money, betting. So
bingo coins? The money to play bingo with?
Well, bingo. I don't play bingo. No. I play for cash.
I mean, you're old, so I don't know. You old people play bingo.
FanDuel, something that your state just allowed,
Yeah.
Yeah, no. See, we've had that here in Jersey. I've been able to do it for 3 years now.
Yeah.
just so you know. And I won, so it was nice.
All right. David, how do you feel about this, man? You think they should change it?
This is my thing. If they change it to where it's like college, these college kids play 8-9 overtime. It's going to be ridiculous. And those college, imagine the NFL playing from the 25-yard line. The games will go into like 20 overtimes. Like, I just feel it's ridiculous if they did that. Do I think they could alter the rule a little bit? Maybe do like the 50-yard line instead of like the 25 or 35, whatever it is. I think they could alter it. But at the same time, everybody said it here. Your job is to stop the other team. Now, I don't feel it's fair. In that game only, we all knew who was going to get the ball first was going to win. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody knew that. I don't think they should change the rule, but I also don't think it's fair. Like, why break something? People are more upset because it was such a good game that they want to change the rules and wanted to see more of it versus the actual rules. Like, this is the first time people actually brought it up. I mean, listen, I'm going to be like, imagine being an NFL player. You're doing the college rules. You're going into like 15 overtimes. My body would be so beat up. I probably wouldn't be able to play the following week. The score would probably be 100-98. It's just not fair to the NFL players. Or if they do a rule like that, you got to change the yard line you get the ball at or something like that. I just feel like if every team gets it from the 25 or 35-yard line, you're telling me an NFL team's not going to score almost every single time or at least a field goal? Like, come on. It's ridiculous. So I just feel like they shouldn't change it just for those reasons, to protect the players more than anything else.
Okay, let's see what happens, man. This is definitely the best game of the year. Easily the best game of the year, man. Easily the best game of the year. Let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens. All right, man. The news came out today. Sean Payton is out. He's leaving the New Orleans Saints, man. Who expected that? I didn't. I've been saying it for years. I see David raising hand. What happened? You expected that, David?
Yeah, because he wants to go to either the Cowboys or Giants, I heard.
Oh, well. You think he would be a good fit on the Giants?
100%. He was on our coaching staff already before. He would 100% be a great.
The coach for the Giants has already been picked, man. It's over already.
From the Bills?
Yeah, I mean, they gave him his second interview so quickly. They're interviewing Patrick Graham just because of the they have to. So I mean, they already got their pick already, and I mean, it only makes sense.
I thought I saw Patrick Graham's going to be the Steelers' defensive coordinator, or if he doesn't get the head coaching job.
Yeah, I think he interviewed today, and I'm not even sure if they're going to let Brian Flores even interview at this point.
Flores is a Brooklyn. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking him. Graham.
Oh, trust me, I want Flores, but to me it seems like it's a foregone conclusion already. I mean, they brought this guy in for a second interview. You know, the new GM is from Buffalo.
You got
a conclusion.
A head coach that's an offensive coordinator. Patrick Graham. If we needed a defense, he would be my number one choice because he always has a top 5 defense every year in the NFL. But we need an offensive coordinator, Peyton, the offensive coordinator from the Bills. We need somebody that can generate and see what Daniel Jones has. A defensive coordinator is not going to care. It's just going to be get our defense good, Where our defense is already good. Our offense stinks. Due to injuries too, yes. But we need to see an offensive person come and be like, all right, Daniel Jones, this is what we're going to do with you. We're going to do exactly what we did with you with Josh Allen in Buffalo. We're going to have you do the tuck and pull. We're going to have you throw the ball all over the place. That's what we need. We need to open this offense up to see what Daniel Jones can really do.
Well, I think that's the main reason why they're taking, the Buffalo offensive coordinator.
Okay. John Paul, did you see that coming? Did you see Sean Payton leaving?
Well, before it came out this morning, there was speculation that on one of the apps that I use, saying that something about Sean Payton might be either getting fired or leaving. And I was sitting there going, there's no way. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's got, I think it's like 160 and I think he's like 160 and 80 in his 14 years over there in New Orleans. And it's, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, that's
only one Super Bowl though. Let me just bring that up.
I don't care. As much as he's won there, one Super Bowl, I mean, I don't care. He wasn't fired. He left.
I also heard he might leave for TV too. I don't know how true that is, but I heard that a television program offered him a full-time job to be a commentator too. So, like I said, I don't know how much it pays. I don't know anything. I heard that before too.
I honestly think whoever's interviewing for the Giants, honest to God's truth, that's just a ploy. I think the Giants are going to get him as their head coach. That's one of the reasons why he stepped down. He was not fired. I think that because he also said, I was watching it on TV, that there is no doubt in his mind that he will be an NFL coach again. He just doesn't know when. So for me, I can see him go.
But real quick, if he goes to another team, have to trade draft picks to get him because he is strictly under contract with the Saints.
Yeah, but I don't.
I think he resigned.
Yeah,
he gave up his 3 years and $45 million.
Okay, so there's nothing going to be.
No, he gave it up. He resigned his position.
Let's see what happens. James, what do you think?
That's 3 years, $45 million. Just like, I don't want
it. Yeah, no thanks.
James, what do you think they have? You think Sean Payton's going to be coaching the Giants?
I mean, I could see it. He's got ties to the organization. They have a head coaching spot, but I feel pretty firm that Daboll is going to wind up being the head coach there. After the GM hire, it seems like they're going to try to be they've worked together before, Shane and Daboll, so I think they're going to be a little package deal there. I mean, I wouldn't count it out with Sean Payton because of the organizational ties. He's been there before, but I could see Sean Payton taking the broadcast money and then reevaluating in 8 to 10 months what coaching jobs are available out there, and maybe he dips his hand back into the coaching game. But I could see him probably taking the broadcast money. Drew Brees probably told him it's real nice on this side of the game, and then he reevaluates where he's at before next, at the end of next year.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Can you see the Saints? I'm just saying, can you see the Saints reaching out to Drew Brees saying, we want you as the head coach, you can hire whoever you want as assistant coaches or whatever? Can you guys see them doing that?
No. I don't think so. Hell no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, maybe as a QB coach for a little bit. I can't. If I'm running the team, there's no way I can ask him to come be the head coach without any kind of experience.
Deion Sanders did it in college.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, boy, you think you can see that happening?
No. I mean, it's possible, 110%, but I don't see it.
Okay. James, you see it or no?
I mean, I guess theoretically they could ask. I just think he would most likely say no. But they could axe. At this point now, they're looking for a head coach, and teams that are fired their coach 2 weeks ago, they're 2, 3 interviews, 4 interviews deep in this whole thing. And so it becomes a matter of what's going to be available at this point. No one's been hired yet, but teams most likely have their guys earmarked. So who's going to be left available for them? Do you try to get, I know the Raiders have been trying to, maybe pry Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan. Do the Saints say, hey, look, you can come coach, New Orleans? That might be, one of those destination spots, but they're probably going to have to think outside the box. So it'll be interesting to see who they choose.
Okay.
If I may, I'd like to put my little 2 cents in here. I see, and this is a little theory of mine. I see another very large coaching gig coming up and another large coaching job being fired. I don't know why. I just feel that Bruce Arians is going to be let go. It very quickly disappeared, everything with Antonio Brown. I think it's going to rear its face now that they're out of the playoffs. This guy was, telling people that he was forced to play while hurt, that possibly injection given while he was saying no, and Bruce Arians knew about it. So I wouldn't be surprised, man, if in the next couple of weeks here we hear something crazy like that. But that's just a theory of mine. And I was right on the first theory about Antonio Brown. Let's see if I'm right on the second one.
100%. 100%. Because you saw what happened to the injection. I forgot what quarterback it was with the call in the Chargers. They gave him an injection. He almost career was over. Forgot. I think Taylor. It was Taylor from Buffalo. They went to take Chargers, told him to take a shot, and they gave him a shot, and they punched it in his lung. And then that's how we got Herbert involved in the NFL now. So let's see, 100%. NFL's getting interesting, man, every week. Tony, can you please take the honors? Let us know about our picks of last week, buddy. Please take the honors.
So last week was very interesting, man. I mean, we all did pretty decent picks, or what we thought were decent picks, and they weren't so good. But the winners of last week go to John Paul and James at 2-2. And your 2 wins were both the same wins, Cincy and KC. So good job on those. Umir, myself, and David, we went 1-3. Umir, your saving grace was San Fran, and David, our saving grace was LA. So between wild card weekend and division weekend, David, you're still winning the you're 7-3 at the moment. James, you've crawled up. You're 7-3 also. I'm at 6-4. John Paul, you're at 5-5. Umir, you're at 3-7. At the bottom of the barrel.
Hopefully I pick it up this week, man. First game we got the LA Rams, 49ers, these are divisional rivals. They saw each other. This is the third time they're going to see each other. John Paul, who you got winning this game, bro?
Oh, man. Yeah, both of these games are so hard to pick. But I that the only team that I thought was going to be able to stop the Packers, too, would have been the Rams or the Cowboys. And since the Cowboys are no longer there, I believe that the Rams can stop the run of Debo and a couple of the other guys that are on that San Francisco 49ers team. So I'm going to take the LA Rams to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay. David, who you got over there, buddy?
I told you guys before, defense wins championships. I said that even before the playoffs started. Don't forget, you're telling me the 49ers could beat the Rams for 3 times in 1 year? 3 times in 1 season, they're going to beat them? First time they played, they ran the ball down their throat. The second time, I mean, let's be honest, the 49ers got a little lucky. I don't see that happening, especially with the Super Bowl in L.A. I have to take the Rams.
Okay. Tony, who you got over there, buddy?
Simple, L.A., baby.
L.A. James, who you got there, buddy?
I got LA too. The Cinderella story comes to an end. I think just as hot as the 49ers defense is, that front line for for the Rams is just as good right now. So Jimmy G makes the mistakes, and the Rams move on.
Oh, man, I believe the Cinderella story is continuing. I believe the Cinderella story will continue. I see 49ers doing a 3-0 sweep on the LA Rams in their own house. I'm saying that now. Because that Jimmy G, man, everyone's doubting him every week. And the same thing the Rams are going to do. They're going to think the 49ers are not that good. They're going to do the same mistakes they did in regular season. And the 49ers are going to come and punch them in the mouth. I got the Niners. Let's see what happens. Then we got the next matchup. We got in KC, man. What a team. This team started rough in the beginning of the year. A lot of people said they were not going to be making the playoffs or Super Bowl. How bad it started. Yes, we know you did. We know you did, John Paul. We know. We know, buddy. We got KC versus very Joe Burrow. I don't know how you're alive, buddy. After 51 sacks in 1 year, I don't know how you're alive, buddy. John Paul, who you going with, buddy?
Well, I'm taking Kansas City for the simple fact that they were my pick to win the Super Bowl. But it would not surprise me by any means if Kansas City so happens to slip up this week and by some miracle the Bengals do win, which honestly, either way it goes for either one of those AFC East teams, AFC teams, I'm sorry. It's going to be a phenomenal game. I'm excited to see it, but I will go Kansas City. But I hope all the best for the Bengals as well.
Okay. Tony, who you going, buddy?
Gonna be a make or break pick for me, man. Oh, do I think that KC can repeat the performance they did this past week? I don't know. Because there are several times this season, man, where they look like absolute shit. I'm going to go for the dogs, baby. Let's go Cincy.
Cincy, okay. David, I see that face, buddy. What are you going with, buddy? I see you a little confused there.
Kansas City lost the number 1 seed due to the Bengals. You don't think Kansas City has the back of their head saying this team beat us and we couldn't 1 seed? Not that it matters anymore, but you don't think that's in the back of their head? I just can't see KC losing to them again. I really can't. And their defense is improved. It's at home. That's the biggest thing. It is at home. How can you go against Mahomes? I know nobody wants to see him back in the Super Bowl, but I just think KC is going to win.
I think that's because his brother and his fiance, that know his wife. That nobody wants to see him in the Super Bowl, which I don't understand. James, what you got there, buddy? Who you going with?
I got Kansas City. I had the Green Bay Kansas City prediction earlier on in the year, and one team failed me, but I'm gonna stick to my guns and say Kansas City goes to the Super Bowl. So,
okay, I'm gonna go with another Cinderella story, man. I'm gonna go with Who Day Nation. Sorry, buddy. You got me dying over there. I'm gonna go with Who Day Nation, bro. I got Joe Burrow, man. This man is a different type of animal. Got sacked 8 times last week. Still won that game. I don't know.
9 times.
No, okay. Sorry, there. Sorry, senior citizen. I didn't know. I didn't count in my head that one time. I don't get that good memory. I got the Bengals, man. I got the Bengals winning that game. All right, guys. Hope everyone has a good week. Hope everyone has a great night. I'll stay warm out there. Enjoy these football games. I know I'm going to be sad that the season's over, but it's going to be sad. Let's see what happens, guys. Hope to see you guys soon.
Be good, guys.